So I don't really have to tell you that people are struggling in America. We have more homeless than we've had in years. I don't know how long. We have more people facing eviction or on the cusp of eviction or behind on their rents than we have in a long, long time. Again, I don't know how long, maybe the Great Depression. But, and here's how some states are dealing with it. And this story has a bit of a funny twist ending as well, which I'll get to in a second. But a new Missouri law makes sleeping on state land a crime for people experiencing homelessness. So you're homeless, you have nowhere to go, nowhere to sleep, and it's a crime. You're a criminal. You're a criminal because you have nowhere to sleep, nowhere to go. I just love the idea that these fucking, and in this case it's Republicans, but Democrats are pieces of shit too, but in this case it's Republican. I love the idea of these fucking wealthy ass Republicans sitting there in their fucking, nice offices, nice air conditioned offices going, well, I got an idea. If we make it illegal to be homeless near us, then we won't have to see it. We won't have to face it, right? We won't have to actually have eyes on these human beings, and that'll make us not have to step over them. So that makes it better. That we can just ignore them because they won't be in our faces. Missouri Governor Mike Parson signed sweeping legislation Wednesday, making it a Class C misdemeanor for people experiencing homelessness to sleep on state-owned land, which is doubly hilarious because what is the state? The state is the people. We own the state, right? It's part of us. It is us coming together and deciding, hey, we'd like to have a government because it's easier to run a society like that. So this government is supposedly accountable to us, and we're paying for it to exist. So we are the state. And you now have the state, these rich fucks, looking at the people who are struggling the most in their society and saying, get them out of here. Get them out of the state areas, which is actually the place they should be most welcome. That's where it should be come one, come all, because we are the state. But you have the complete reverse. The law prevents some federal and state funds from being used to construct affordable housing. That's the other thing that I feel like Republicans mastered this trick, but Democrat, I can't. It wouldn't surprise me if Democrats are using it too. But the trick of putting into the law the fact that state funds, that your and my funds, tax dollars, can't be used for things, can't be used to help people. like let's make it a law that the money that was paid by the people can't go back to the people in this area. I mean, how fucked is that? Let's make it a law that the thing you're paying us to do, we can't do, which is help make society better. The law prevents some state and federal funds, some federal and state funds from being used to construct affordable housing, instead redirecting the money towards constructing temporary camps that provide substance abuse and mental health treatment. Yeah, but where are the fucking temporary camps and how good are they and how long do they last? It also allows the Missouri Attorney General to sue local governments that don't enforce laws and orders on unauthorized public camping, sleeping, or obstructions of sidewalks. So here's a problem that some Republicans have been facing. Again, don't take this as me saying Democrats are good. I can criticize Republicans without it meaning Democrats are good. But here's a problem some Republicans have been facing. They live in a fucking awful, draconian, fascist, shithead, racist state. Like the overarching authority is just awful human beings. So like Missouri, and there's some other examples, Alabama, and some regards Arizona, and some regards Texas, and they end up with a problem where there's certain cities that are kind of good, nice people hanging out, having a good time, And they end up in a situation where it's like, oh shit, the people in Austin, Texas are treating each other right. Like they see someone being harmed by poverty and they go to help them. Or they see in North Carolina that, oh shit, there's a place in Asheville where like homeless people are being treated okay and they're not getting their heads kicked in when they fall asleep and shit like that. And so the awful fascist bootlickers, shitheads at the top of these states are like, well, the answer is to make it illegal somehow to help people, to be nice. We gotta put in the law that you have to be a shithead. And that's what this is, right? This is the Missouri state government saying, hey, cities and towns out there, make sure you beat up and arrest any homeless people that fall asleep in your area. Like, legally, you have to. I mean, that's what this is. It allows Missouri Attorney General to sue local governments that don't enforce laws against unauthorized public camping, sleeping, or obstructions of sidewalks. By the way, ignore those terms because those are euphemisms. Public camping means a homeless person fell asleep or a homeless person has a tent to survive. And that's illegal. That's what a public camping law is. It's saying it's illegal for you to try and survive here. Sleeping is illegal in some of these areas. And then there's obstruction of sidewalks. It's making it illegal to be poor in these areas, to be very poor. Because think about it. A rich person or a person who looks to be rich or is dressed rich, you know, if you took a homeless person and you cleaned them up, and I'm not saying that like an insult, like homeless people are dirty. Some are not dirty, but it's often hard to find the ability to, let's say, get a good shave, a nice clean shave, and a nice clean haircut, which I don't have anyway, and newer clothes and those type of things. It's tough to get it when you're homeless. So I'm not saying that homeless people are by definition dirty, but I'm saying if you were to take a homeless person and give them the new clothes and the nice shave and the fucking make them smell good and the nice haircut and do everything to make them look like a wealthy person, and then sit them on a sidewalk for hours, I bet you they don't get harassed or arrested or dealt with the way that someone looking homeless does get dealt with. So that proves, and you could do test after test of this, it proves that these are laws just exerted against homeless or poor people. Like, they're saying it's illegal to block a sidewalk, which means sitting on a sidewalk or standing there for an extended amount of time. But you're not blocking a sidewalk. If you're sitting on a sidewalk, you're not blocking it because if there was an emergency, you'd fucking get up too, right? It's a Mitch Hedberg joke. It's like, they told me I could not sit there because there's a fire exit. If there was a fire, I'd be in the way. And he's like, if you're flammable and have legs, you are never blocking a fire exit. As if there was a fire, I wouldn't leave, which is very true. But so it's the same thing. You're not blocking they wouldn't call it blocking a sidewalk if you were rich or wealthy or looked rich or wealthy. They would call it fine. Do whatever you want. Take a white guy in a 3-piece suit, sit him on a sidewalk, see how long till he's arrested. Really, count the days that a white guy in a 3-piece suit smoking a cigarillo or whatever the fuck why rich people smoking a pipe. I don't know what the fuck they're smoking nowadays. Sit him there, see how long till he's arrested. Fucking never, maybe. He sits there a month till he's finally harassed. So to continue from the article, Representative Bruce DeGroot. Is that the name of the tree in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie? Groot? Representative Bruce DeGroot, Chesterfield Republican, who sponsored the House bill, said the legislation might not be perfect, quote unquote, but homelessness in Missouri was too dire to wait another year. I love the idea that he thinks he did this to help homeless people. He doesn't actually believe that he did this to help homeless people. He believes he did this to get homeless people out of his way. But he wants to tell people he did it to help homeless people. So he's like, homelessness was just too dire. So the answer was to arrest them. arrest them and put them in a camp somewhere, because then there's no more homelessness near me. And I don't know why I made him drunk, but in this scenario, he's drunk. We need to help the homeless people by grabbing them up, by using all the dudes with guns. We have all the guys with guns, right? All right, take the guys with guns and point the guns at the people sleeping in the tents outside, and then handcuff them and take them away, so I don't have to look at them anymore. Also, that bit was meant to point out that this representative, who is a person of power, whether he's rich or not, he's probably rich, but a person of power, he could be drunk off his ass. It wouldn't matter. He could be speaking on the floor of the Missouri State House, trashed off his ass. Wouldn't matter. They'd be fine with it. Everybody would be fine with it. Part of Missouri officials' lack of, which is not true for homeless, right? If you're homeless and you are drunk or drinking, not okay, right? You get arrested quite quick for having an open beverage or for being drunk in public. Whereas, if I were homeless, I'd be drunk all the time I could be. I'd spend every waking moment that I could be drunk as a homeless person, drunk as I can be. Because you're fucking homeless. Shit's not looking up, man. Like, if I didn't have a house, if my bathroom was a mug, like a fucking coffee mug that I stole from a bank somewhere, said like United Bank on it, or Bank of America on the side of it. If my bathroom was a mug that I kept in a box in a tent, then I'd have a lot of drinks, as many as I could afford. If my pajamas were a magazine that I found, then I would drink a lot. I think I would. Part of Missouri officials' lack of understanding of how to implement the law, Owsley contends, stems from the fact that the legislation originated from a template bill written by a conservative think tank in Austin, Texas, called the Cicero Institute. All right, this is the same shit as ALEC. ALEC writes bills for state houses. They then don't change a word, and they just try and pass them. And these are written by right-wing fucking shitbag politicians. Not politicians, right-wing think tank shitheads. And there could be some Democratic ones, but our Democrats are right-wing too, so they're all right-wing. And they send these bills to the state house, and the state house just fucking forward them and try and get them passed. And this one said, arrest homeless people for being homeless. The Texas group is staunchly opposed to the federal Housing First model, which prioritizes permanent, affordable housing as a solution to homelessness. Oh, God forbid! There's 17 million empty housing units in this country. There's fucking even more empty office space than that they could be living in. You could have every person housed, and it wouldn't cost us a dime. Actually, they found out it saves money to house chronically homeless. A handful of states have introduced or passed Cicero's model bill, but Missouri is the first state to get language passed that prevents state and federal funds for homeless services to be used on permanent housing. Way to go, Missouri. All right, you ready for the twist coming up? I told you there'd be a twist at the end of this one. Here's the twist coming up. In 2018, Boise versus Martin. Well, this isn't the twist yet. Boise versus Martin case, the U.S. Court of Appeals in the 9th District ruled that people cannot be punished for sleeping outside on public property in the absence of adequate alternatives. So, we have a law that says that this law that Missouri passed should be illegal. But that's not even the twist I'm talking about. I said there's a fun twist at the end. Here it is. Lee Camp, state attorney with the St. Louis nonprofit law firm Arch City Defenders, said attorneys and advocates statewide will be working to nail down the number of available beds on a specific night. And if there aren't enough beds, Lee Camp said any citation or jail time will violate that Boise precedent. Lee Camp! And this is my time to reveal to you that I am a Missouri state housing attorney. I went to law school at night, and I'm now an attorney in Missouri representing the homeless. And yeah, thank you for your congratulations. It was hard work, but somebody had to do it. And so that's what I do now, part-time at night. No, I'm kidding. This is another Lee Camp. I've known about him for a little while now. This is a Lee Camp housing attorney or homelessness attorney in Missouri. And I get his Google alerts sometimes. And I actually did try and reach out to that firm he's a part of, Arch City Defenders, and say I'd like to interview him on the show. But they never responded to me. And I think they probably didn't respond to me because I was like, hey, I'm Lee Camp. I have the same name as your guy. And they were like, okay, this lunatic has named his email account Lee Camp just to fuck with us. So I think they thought I was out of my mind, but actually I have tried to interview him. Anyway, just goes to show Lee Camps are doing good out there. All of us Lee Camps are fighting a good fight, man. Folks, that is the show for today, but I do these live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. They then are available at rumble.com/Lee Camp. So you can keep watching them even if you miss the live, the chance to see them live. Fridays, though, are for members only. That's at leecamp.net. But please, if you got $1 worth of content out of today, and if you're listening to this or watching the end of this, then you probably did. If you got $1 worth of content out of today, please go to leecamp.net and sign up because it's the lowest level is $1.25 a week. And it's a whole community over there. You can post stuff, you can chat with people, you can meet people and become a part of it. And just trust me, go take a look, leecamp.net. That would mean a lot to me. It would help keep this thing going. Also, make sure you click subscribe at rumble.com/Lee Camp because YouTube is censoring and suppressing the fuck out of me. All right, folks, that's it for now. Keep fighting.